From Mosaic Marketing, this is Small Business Spotlight, the show that gives small businesses a spotlight to what they do. Yeah, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone to this episode of Small Business Spotlight with Mosaic. I've got a great show today and a fabulous guest speaker. And we're doing a little bit different today. We're also doing a video. So on top of the audio, we actually have a video, and you can watch that video on our website and on YouTube. And this gentleman, I met last year when he first came to the Myrtle Beach area where our office is in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I really was struck by his demeanor and the way that he was able to actually communicate with an audience about some of the different services that his company and he personally has to offer. He's a certified business coach, and he actually will be talking about a really great message today about how to use a story to engage customers. But one thing about this gentleman is that he also practices the 6 critical areas of business and making sure that these 6 critical areas of business are ones that transfer your business into a profit-generating machine. So not only is he going to talk about how to use a story to engage customers, we're also going to be talking about, generating profits with your business and the 6 critical areas of working together so that you can actually develop your business. He has a company, it's called Clear Message, and his name is Brandyn Miller. Welcome, Brandyn. Thank you very much for coming. I can't wait to talk to you about everything that you have to offer our audience and others. How you doing today?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, Marcel. Pleasure to be here. Appreciate the invitation.
You're so welcome. And I am so excited about having you here. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you have been doing and Clear Message?
Well, it's funny. In many instances, the last person anybody should trust to help grow their business is a former massage therapist, because a massage therapist in the United States, when I got out of the profession, averaged about $20,000 a year. And the number one reason that 50,000 massage therapists would leave the industry every year is because they couldn't make any money. They couldn't actually make a business work. So when I found this system that I now use and help others use to grow their business, it enabled me to grow not only far past what the average massage therapist did, but actually did 15 times what the average massage therapist did annually in less than 3 years using this simple system. And it's all based on what we're going to talk about today.
So let me just interrupt you. So we have talked in the past, so I know a little bit about your history. So when you say a massage therapist, you were actually a professional massage therapist. And not only that, you owned your own spa, correct? And
I did the therapeutic end, but yeah, a wellness clinic. Yeah.
A wellness clinic. And you found this type of system, and you saw that you had a growth in your business X number of times after you started using these techniques. So just tell me and tell the audience a little bit about that.
Well, I had worked for somebody else as a contractor in another wellness facility for 5 or 6 years, and knew that there had to be a way to attract clients and to grow the business. We were constantly trying to fill our tables. So I found this system, and about 3 months after I found and started experimenting with this system, we moved and I had the opportunity to go out on my own and open my own clinic. So on January 9th of 2017, I had 0 clients, I had $0 and just signed one lease. That was January 9th of 2017. By March of 2017, just three and a half months later, I was at about 50% capacity, which was already exceeding the average for the average massage therapist in the United States. By July of that year, I had completely filled my schedule and had 2 part-time people working with me. That first year grossed over $170,000, doubled that in 2018, and actually moved across the hall to a space triple the size and doubled again in 2019. We were billing over $60,000 a month at the end of 2019 in January of 2020. Then, of course, everything came to a screeching halt. So as I changed states and went through a transition, I had the opportunity either to start over or to realize that there are a ton of people out there, not just massage therapists, not just chiropractors, physical therapists, tangential healthcare workers, but industries of all types that don't have a system and a framework and a process to get people to raise their hand and walk towards them, to get customers to stop daydreaming and start paying attention, to get customers actually leaning in when they talk about their business. And using this simple framework, everyone can grow their business and then execute the simple frameworks in all the areas of their business. So not only are they getting customers to raise their hand and step towards them, so you never chase a sale again, but getting resources, getting business partners, getting employees. Right now, there's a myth every night on television where they say there's a labor shortage. We don't have a labor shortage. We have a communication problem where we don't know how to communicate why we need that employee and why they should come work for us and want the job that we have available for them. So that, again, the employee says, I want you to accomplish your task and your mission in your business. When we know how to talk about our business, we actually get everyone, all 6 critical areas, you mentioned that earlier, we get the resources that we need in every area of our business and they come towards us. We can actually attract the right people, the right fit. And again, we're going to talk about how to attract those customers using story in just a few minutes.
Yeah, so let's start talking about that. So I'm going to bring on a slide and start our show out with how to use a story to engage customers.
Absolutely.
So,
and I love this. So many people and marketers and we've all heard this term, tell your story, use story. So it is a hugely powerful thing, but I'm going to give it just a little bit of a twist today that may not be a version that you've heard before.
So once we get through this here, now this slide is a little bit hard to see. Can you see that okay?
Yeah. So confusing messages cause all kinds of problems. Again, the name of my company is Clear Message. When you don't have a clear message, well, your customers don't understand what problem you solve, what your solution is, how you make their life better. That means that your salespeople don't have clear, reliable language. And again, whether you're a solopreneur and you are your only salesperson or whether you have a team of people, that means your offer isn't remembered. Nobody can really, pinpoint or remember or recall. And that means they're not talking about you. They're not spreading the word naturally. And the worst part of that is without a clear message, that means that you could be missing customers. And 2 terrible things could happen. First is customers could go to an inferior competitor. They didn't find you, so they went to somebody else and they're not getting the right solution. Even worse, it means that your customer may be continuing to suffer from the problem that you can help them solve, all because they didn't hear your message. So how do we fix that? It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
So you can attract customers. And don't get me wrong, if you're doing discounts, if you're doing coupons, if you're in price competition, that's an easy way to attract customers because you're solving a universal problem. What that speaks to is limited resources going further. And that's a universal problem. But you can actually create more value with a clear message so that you don't have to take the entire burden of the value equation on yourself. If you are cutting prices, that's giving the customer value, but at your own expense. When you can add value to your customer without dipping into your profit, both the customer and the service provider or retailer wins. So you can attract customers without discounts, without coupons. How do you do that? By using story. And story is an amazingly powerful tool. As a matter of fact, it's been used for thousands of years. And it's the only way that we know that works to get people to stop daydreaming and start paying attention.
Yeah, I'll give you a perfect example of that. You know, in the 1600s, there were storytellers, and a lot of them were seamen. You know, they went out on the sea and they were doing fishing and they were doing exploring and navigating on the seas and so on and so forth. You know, and they started telling stories about, you know, different lands that they discovered. And these stories would then get people all riled up. They wanted to go and see these things, you know, even the scary stories with monsters and sea monsters and everything else. I mean, people were really interested, but that's the only thing they had was stories. And so the Americas were discovered because of stories. So yes, you can attract customers. And how do they attract the customers? By telling a story. And you're right. I have a lot of stories. What's some of the stories that you think can help other customers?
Well, so first of all, a lot of times businesses will get confused and they think, well, I am telling my story. Well, my story starts when my grandfather started the company in 1943. That's confusing story with history. Now, to engage customers, to get customers excited, to get them to stop daydreaming and start paying attention, every story has 7 basic elements. Now, when you tell more complicated stories, you can expand on these, but there are 7 basic elements. First of all, there is a character, and that character wants something. Without a desire, there is no reason to tell the story. We've all sat through those, right? But there is a problem, and that means that the character or the customer is not getting what they want because they have a problem. And they continue to suffer from that problem until they meet a guide. And then that guide gives them a plan. When they have that plan, they are then called to action. And once they're called to action, they need to take that action in order to achieve success and avoid failure. When you have those basic elements of story, that is how you can get customers to raise their hand and step towards you and be engaged in your product or service. So how does that work exactly? Well, first of all, again, without the character of the story wanting something and having a problem preventing them to get it, there's no story. There's no reason for them to pay attention. So when we start, if you were to go to a car lot and want a new vehicle and the salesman started reading the window sticker, you're not going to pay any attention to that because you can get that information on your own, and it's not a really compelling type of thing. But by engaging who the customer is, what they want, and then how to overcome the problem, you can actually engage that person and you can speak directly towards it. I wrote a very simple little, we call them brand script in the business made simple world. But again, you can see that what I wrote is not very long. It's just a couple of paragraphs, but let me read this really quickly and run through just these 7 basic things.
If you want a copy of this, send me an email at marcel@marketingnearme.biz, and I will send you a copy of this.
Moms everywhere want to feed their kids healthy dinners. The problem is there's never enough time to cook, and fast food is full of fat, sugar, and salt. Dinner done right, home cooking knows you shouldn't have to choose between an easy dinner and a healthy meal. We provide hundreds of families great tasting dinners every night. Getting a stress-free meal is simple. Call our team of in-home chefs, pick your favorites from our menu, and enjoy a healthy meal the whole family will love. Call now to schedule. Make dinner your favorite family gathering again, knowing everyone is getting healthy food and time together. The days of grabbing grease-stained bags from a drive-thru are finally over. It's that simple. And again, you probably didn't even notice as I was reading through those 7 elements. But what was the character? Moms everywhere. Did you notice what the third word in that was? Moms everywhere want. So we identified the customer want in the very first phrase, not even a full sentence. And then we put a roadblock. Did you notice I said, the problem is there's never enough time to cook? This is an oversimplified version, but I wanted to show you how simple it is and how easy it is to plug these things in. So moms everywhere want, the problem is. How do they get over the problem that they have? By finding a guide. Who is the guide? Dinner Done Right, their home cooking service. And then how did the guide interact with them? They gave them an easy plan. Then, not only did they give them a plan, they said, call now to schedule. They gave them a plan and called them into action. Then, what happens with the action? They could either achieve success and get a healthy meal that everyone loves, plus time together, or avoid failure and go back to the grease-stained bags through the drive-through window. So it's really that simple. And again, that's just in order. Once you learn these 7 pieces and how they work together and how to operate them and how to juggle them, you can take them just like Lego blocks and build those same 7 pieces into a million different things.
Brandyn, I love this. And 6 and 7, lead to success and avoid failure, basically are the same thing, but looking at it in 2 different ways.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get a successful outcome if you follow our plan, and you're gonna avoid failure if you follow our plan. The call to action, call today. The character, again, I've written a number of radio and TV commercials, and these words, now more than ever, those questions that you ask the person and develop the character, moms today, everything that has to do, the problem itself, they don't have enough time. They want to cook a healthy meal for their kids, and then the company itself, the business is the guide. And again, I love it because you're guiding the character to help solve their problem. And who's the guide? The company.
And you started out with a great point, and I want to circle back to that, is achieving success and avoiding failure is critical. A lot of companies will think, well, I don't want to scare customers. I don't want to use negative language. But it's critical because that actually establishes there is something bad that can happen if you don't. Now, think of, we all watch television, but think of the big black van showing up and the bomb squad jumping out of the back of the truck, and they're all dressed in their big green bomb suits, and the FBI director says, "Oh, thank goodness you're here. We found an unexploded ordnance. It's been sitting there undisturbed since the 40s, and nobody's around for hundreds of miles, so it's not really pressing. Just have a report on my desk before 5 o'clock tomorrow." Is anyone going to watch the rest of that movie? Of course not, because nothing bad can happen. If you don't present something to your customer that they're going to continue to suffer from their problem, or there's going to be something bad that will happen, there's no reason for them to take action. So you've got to present that failure option so that they are inspired and you know that you are going to lead them to overcome that issue that they're dealing with, that they don't have to.
Yeah, now this is a little game theory too, isn't it?
Well, there's all kinds of different things that go into these. And again, this is just a basic example, but absolutely, you can get into all kinds of different nuanced things. And the way that we talk about the recipe is success is in a cake or in a cookie is your flour and sugar. You can never get too much. Pour that on. Lots of sugar, lots of flour is great. But you have to have just a pinch of salt in order to make it taste right. In order to give it that kick, because without the salt, without that failure or that reminder that there's something to be lost or something bad that can happen, it just falls flat. So you've got to have just that pinch of salt or just that little bit of failure to remind people they need to actually push the button. They need to actually take advantage of it.
So again, use story to engage customers, right?
Absolutely. And don't confuse it with history. Use the elements of story to invite customers in and position your company as the guide, exactly like you said.
So stop telling your story. Instead, invite your customers into the story.
There you go. That's it.
And that's the bottom line, right, Brandon?
Absolutely. When using these 7 simple techniques, customers will raise their hand. They'll walk towards you so that you're never chasing a sale again. They're going to stop scrolling through that feed and they're going to start paying attention. They're going to listen to your message instead of ignoring it like the thousands of other clouded messages that we get every day.
All right, so just to let everybody know, they can get a hold of you by going to your website. What is your website?
So if you want to learn how to create a clear message for your business so that you are attracting the right resources in all 6 areas, go to myclearmessage.com. It's myclearmessage.com. Schedule a free 30-minute call, and you can get your custom plan to creating your very own clear message so that you never miss a sale, so that customers aren't continuing to suffer from a problem that you can help them with. So go to myclearmessage.com and schedule your free 30-minute session right now. I can't wait to talk to you.
I can't wait for them to participate either. And again, Brandyn is also available. You can reach him through that website if you want to get involved with some of his coaching. And he's a consultant with different companies. And Brandyn, this was great. I love it. Thank you so much for being part of our show today. Again, we are here to help others, and we want to continue to do that. Spotlight on small business with Mosaic. Thank you so much, Brandyn, and have a great day.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Marcel.